When you came out, was that here in the States or in France?
No, it was in France.
In France?
Yeah.
So is there a climate there that's conducive to that? You know, I know there wasn't PFLAG and all that, but do you see things changing in France now?
Oh yeah, well I mean, you know, it is true, I mean I was lucky because people generally, you know, I went to an international school, so generally, you know, expatriates, people who, you know, move to another country and, you know, decide to, you know, live in a place like France, which is generally pretty progressive. You know, they're pretty progressive themselves, and I was lucky in that regard because I didn't lose a single friend when I came. Of course, you know, there was some confusion. I mean, you know, there wasn't, a lot of people didn't understand exactly what that meant. So when I said, oh, I'm gay. So of course it took some time for people to understand. But no, I mean, I was lucky that nobody outright rejected me. And that's why I say, you know, I don't want to come off sounding like it's been such a difficult experience because, you know, I understand that I had a lot of advantages that people don't have. And, you know, I remember when I was living in France, I had a guy send me a message on YouTube because I was doing YouTube videos at the time talking about gay rights. And there was some guy in Montana who contacted me, was telling me his story and saying, you know, I need help. You know, and I felt like, you know, I thought what I had, this was like, that was the first time where I really realized, you know, God, you know, I thought I had it tough. And, you know, and I felt so terrible that, number one, I couldn't help him, but number two, that, you know, I think we just have to be aware that, you know, there are always people out there that, you know, and everybody talks about how things are getting so much better, but, you know, there are so many people out there that still need help, and, you know, it's just, you know, it was difficult for me because I realized, I wish there was more that I could do to help the people out there, not only in America, but around the world, you know.
Did you ever go through a phase where you tried to deny that this was reality for you, that you weren't really gay?
No, I mean, you know, of course, when I was 12 or 13, you know, it wasn't even a serious thing, but I asked a girl out on like the school disco or something when I was 12. But it wasn't like, obviously it was at that age. It was more just me kind of going along with what was normal or what was expected. You know, when I was 13, and I finally did put the label, as I was saying earlier, you know, gay with what I was feeling, then I realized, okay, so that means if you know, if that's the way I feel, then that also is the way that I'm supposed to live. You know, I need to be true to who I am. I need to live in a way that, you know, that falls in line with, you know, who I really am and how I feel. So once I realized that, once I was 13, 14, that process happened quickly. Like, you know, I read the PFLAG website, I watched a lot of movies, and I sort of psyched myself up to a point where I said, okay, you know, this is what I need to do in order to live a life that's honest and that's, you know, fulfilling.
In this case, it was really important for him to reach out because that's the only place we really found support out there through PFLAG, like-minded people on Facebook, and you had a little, you know, social group. That was pretty much it. Not where we are, where it tends to be a bit provincial and very conservative.
I mean, the place we lived was not like Paris. You know, Paris is a very big city. It's, you know, it's like New York. You know, I mean, it's you know, had I been there, it might have been a little easier. But being in the place we were living, which was actually a pretty small place, I only had my school, even though it went from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade, we only had like 450 kids. So, you know, although when I came out, and this speaks to the power of just one person, you know, coming out and being honest about who they are. After I came out, one guy came out 2 weeks later, and then I came out in 2006, graduated in 2010, but in that time, you know, I was the first gay student, but after I came out, I think 5 others came out. So, you know, and it speaks to the fact that it's really, really important to be who you are, and you know, I think, you know, it's just important to contribute to a cause larger than yourself. And when you come out, just being honest about who you are. You know, it's not that in itself. Yeah, if you can, if that in itself is a huge huge gift that you're giving other people, and also you're giving a gift to yourself by, living life in a happy and fulfilling way.
How did you feel, or what emotions did you go through when he went on his first real date?
Henry?
Yeah.
Well, we had a slumber party at our house, and it was before my husband knew. So, anyway, and I said, okay, no hanky-panky, because, I was going out and my husband wasn't there. No hanky-panky, kids. Right. And so I went out, and I said to you, keep it cool. I know what's going on. Keep it cool, because your dad doesn't know yet, and I don't. It'd be uncool. So anyway, I came back early, and
I never thought I'd have this story broadcast.
I came home early. I'll just leave it at that. And
it wasn't horrific.
it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. But it was only horrific because my husband still didn't know, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is going on. And I said, get it together. And kids will be, I did the same thing. So it's like I didn't really.
It was more funny than anything.
Well, you thought it was. I didn't know it was funny. It may be funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time. And I just remember the next morning, I couldn't even look at you and Henry. And I just, made breakfast, and I dropped the kids off in town or whatever. And I just remember Henry just waving, and it was like, it's cute. I remember the braces and the white bell bottoms. That's all. But I always thought it was going to be. I always thought it was going to be a lot more difficult. It wasn't any big deal. I thought it was going to be a big deal, but it wasn't any big deal. I would have thought the exact same way if it had been a girl. Just get it together.
My question is about extended family. Do you have cousins, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and how have they been to both of you?
We have some family here. We have my sister-in-law, my niece, right here. And they're came from Tehachapi.
My Uncle Joe would have been
Uncle
here.
Joe is cool.
Yeah,
Uncle Joe is cool with it. We have some people in our family that are cool with it, and some people that aren't cool with it.
We were actually saying earlier at dinner, it's like half and half. There are half who, are like, who are completely okay, completely accepting. I went to a Dodger game with my Uncle Joe and my cousin JP a few weeks ago, and so half of my Aunt Hope, so like any other family, in fact, just goes to show, we may be, a progressive family, but like most families, we also have people who aren't okay with it, and it's just it's a typical thing. Just that's what's happening all everywhere.
It's it's with a few of them. It's like there's an elephant in the room, but no one's talking about it.
Yeah, it's not like they're saying we're never going to see you again.
Yeah,
it's just it's like we'll hang out with you. We love you, but let's not go there. Exactly. Well, yeah,
Well, they say you can love the sinner, but not the sin. It's like whatever. You can't even go there. You can't argue with that. So I don't even bother. It's just like listen, and goes in one ear and goes out the other. So.
Did you have any sort of religious hang-ups about the whole thing? You talked about family.
Well, yeah, and that has the other side of the other people in the family who do have issues with it. Yeah, their objections are religious. In our family, my mom and dad and me have all been more, spiritual as opposed to, being attached to any specific, congregation or anything like that.
Yeah.
But for sure. And the extended family, especially on my mom's side, because they are from a more, rural conservative background. That was definitely a factor. Not for us, but for them for sure. Yeah.
It's I think it's, with our family too, it's a generational thing, and in a way, I don't know. I mean,
well, even when you were, for your own, when you were my age, when you were doing what you were doing, being out in the punk scene and stuff, they were kind of the same people. They're the same issues, not necessarily about gay stuff, but about just in general, like a certain. They
always go back to the Bible, and and it's like, punk rock is bad, it says so in the Bible. Or, being gay is bad, it says so in the Bible. Yeah. So, it's like, okay, well, I didn't read it, but, we just kind of let it go. Because it's with, certain members of our family are older, and I just, if they want to feel that way. Actually, that being said, they'll come out to family functions and he'll have his boyfriend and everybody's happy and everybody knows it's a boyfriend, but no one ever says it. So, I
will say, the thing is, I don't actually think about this as often as, it doesn't really occur to me. I may have come out to my parents when I was 14, to my friends, but there were certain members of my family I didn't come out to until I was 18. It was actually when you wrote your book that, it was like, okay, this is going to be out there now in the book. I better, write a letter and say.
Which you did. I was always like, don't tell grandma and grandpa, because I don't know if they can, handle it. It's just, I don't know. It probably was wrong, but I just knew that they probably wouldn't understand it anyway, so just leave it alone, But you wrote a letter, and it didn't go down very well. We didn't think it would, but at least we got it out, and they know, and it's, like I said, it's like the elephant in the room. No one's talking about it.
Some of us knew.
But some of us, did you know before? Yeah.
Just kind of tell.
Really? We never talked about that. No. No. Well, yeah. As I said, I was always not your typical.
It was the clothes. It was the collar and things.
Yeah.
The ascot.
Yeah. I know that sounded really awful, and when you talk about the tailcoat. That's what But I was a cool kid. I was a little strange, but a little unusual.
When you wanted to go see the Brokeback Mountain movie, was part of that like an affirmation? You wanted to see how your mom would react to it? Because the same thing happened with my son. He really wanted me to see Milk because he wanted to see what my reaction was to it and how I would respond to it.
Yeah, well, in fact. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but it's old news, so who cares? In fact, when we went to see Brokeback Mountain, when we finally went to see it, Dad walked out.
He's saying, I'm out of here. Not because he was judging, but he just didn't want to. I guess he felt uncomfortable with us all sitting as a family watching it, but because it is, at times
it's
just
adult,
get kind of racy.
It's a serious movie,
but it wasn't because he was,
No, that makes him sound. It was just, But yeah, it was, and I was. It was like on the.
It was still new for him too. I think it was 3 or 4 months into him, into him dealing with his own feelings about, having a gay. Which, by the way, it went on. I remember hearing there was a lot of heated discussion, and they would all come to me and they'd go, like this. And I said, you guys got to work it out. I can't be a mediator. So they did.